Hey there, everybody. Good morning. Welcome back to the home studio. Today, it's time for another installment of 7 Minutes in the Morning where we will talk about what you really want and why you need to know that. Grab a cup of coffee and we'll get started right after this.
This is 7 Minutes in the Morning, where 5 days a week you get tips and hacks dedicated to helping business owners and leaders just like you find and break through the one thing that is preventing your success. And now, here's the host of 7 Minutes in the Morning and your results coach, Thom Rigsby.
Look at all of you saying good morning. Hey, Joe. Hey, Catherine. Good morning to everybody watching the show this morning. Appreciate you being here, whether it's your first time or I don't even know what we're up to. We're probably over 1,000 on episodes by now. Last time I looked, it was in, I don't know, 700s or so. Gotten all fancy. I just added the count in, that's all. Hey, listen, when you get here, do as Joe and Catherine have done already. Leave a comment and say hi, hello, good morning. Glad to have you here. And if by the end of our time together today you get any value at all, I would appreciate it if you would leave the old heart, stars, thumbs up, likes, whatever's appropriate in the venue where you are watching or listening. All right. So, two things today. One is, was on Fred's show yesterday. We talked about this video from the two doctors out of California that has been making its way around YouTube, Facebook, everywhere else. And I was telling Vicky about it last night. So, yes, I've heard from many people who have a different opinion than I do. Oh, yeah. Chicken's back there, actually. There's the chicken. He's just on a new roost. I'll move him back. Here's the important thing. I just want to talk about the doctors here for just a minute. If you haven't seen the video, it's over on the WTKI website, and I'll post it here and in the comments here also so you can see it. The gist of what they said is this. We don't know how many people total have the virus. We don't know how many people, but we do know how many people have been tested, and we do know how many positive results we got out of that. So it's a pretty sound statistical process to say, okay, well, if the infection rate is 1% or 2% or 10% out of this population, if we look at the total population, that'll give us the big number. And then you use that big number to compare against the deaths to see what the mortality is, and you find out that, at least by their calculation, and I think it's a sound one, that the mortality rate is at worst the same as the flu. Now, here's where we can disagree. The numbers you can't disagree with. Math is math. It's universal. It's a science also. You're talking about following the science. You got to follow the science. But here's where we can disagree. What do the numbers mean? Okay, well that's kind of open to interpretation. Is the mortality rate as low as the flu because we've done this shutdown and distancing and okay, that's open for discussion. How should we use that as we are deciding whether to open back up or not? That's open for discussion as well. So there was also a lot of conversation about what their motives were, where the video originated from, all of that. And all of that, here's the important thing that I want you to take away. This is a lesson that's ubiquitous. It does apply to this video, but it's not limited to this video. Even if they have a monetary motive, because they own a chain of Doc in the Boxes, right? Even if they have a monetary motive, doesn't make the math wrong. Even if their interpretation about what the math means and what we should do next, even if they're wrong about that, which we'll get to that in just a minute, but even if they're wrong about that, doesn't make the math wrong. Regardless of who reported or who broke the story, doesn't make the math wrong. So you have to look at any circumstance, right? Be it a shifting playing field for your business, be it what's going on in the news, what's going on in politics, what's going on in the world. You have to look at it and be able to discern what are the solid pieces and what are the pieces that are open for interpretation, right? Because a lot of the blowback that's coming from this video is their interpretation's wrong, they're idiots, so none of it matters. Well, you may believe they're idiots, and that's your opinion, and that's fine. You're entitled to that. But it doesn't change the math. So we have to be able to discern what's fact from what's opinion. And we've lost that ability as a culture. I'm afraid we're losing. Maybe we hadn't lost it completely, but I'm afraid we're losing that ability. So always, even in the stuff that I say, I want you to challenge what I say from between fact and opinion, right? And for yourself, the things that I say, I state facts, I state opinions, I state experience, right? And for all of us, our experience dictates our opinions, right? So just be open to that, right? Be aware of that and choose to do that, okay? Now, here's the other half. When it comes to the interpretation part, right? They might be wrong or they might be right, but all 100% of the arguments that I have read against their interpretation base the wrongness of their interpretation on the fact that it goes against the main line of thinking. They're not towing the company line, in other words, so they're wrong. Well, that doesn't make them wrong. That makes them unpopular, right? I can have the opinion, and I do have the opinion, and I share this opinion freely, that it's time for us to get back to work. Now, I'm not saying we shouldn't take necessary precautions. I'm just saying we have to get back to work. But if you hear it's time to get back to work and say, Tom's an idiot, he wants everybody to die, you're not discerning fact from opinion. And in fact, in that example, you're projecting opinion that was never stated, right? So the important thing I want you to understand is there's a difference between fact and opinion. Now, let's bring this back around to our quote of the day today and our title that we're working with. What do you want? And more importantly, what do your customers want? Right? Our quote of the day comes from Seth Godin. People rarely buy what they need. They buy what they want. People rarely buy what they need. They buy what they want. Most of the business owners that I have worked with that have gotten in trouble, it's because they're selling what people need and not what people want. And even worse, they're selling what they think people need, but people don't think they need it, so they don't buy it, right? If you can, we've talked a lot about this over the last couple of days, instead of being passionate about selling your widget, get passionate about solving a problem for your customer and let the customer dictate the problem that gets solved. Way too often they say, okay, well, I know how to iron, so I'm going to start an ironing business. Well, maybe your customer doesn't want or need. I don't have anything I need ironed. Very little. I'm wearing a t-shirt today. 99% of the time I wear golf shirts, right? I don't have things I need ironed. In fact, I buy clothes intentionally that don't have to be ironed. So understanding what your customer wants, not using what you think you know to dictate the results, is important. How do you do that? Through discernment. See? Tied that back together. You have to be able to listen to what they say, separate fact from opinion, and test, right? The reason that we talk about testing ideas, the reason that we go through all of that at all, is to help you understand, to help you build up a base of numbers that are reliable, to build a base of facts upon which you can build a business instead of just a base of speculation, right? And in order to do that, we have to listen to what the customer says, and they're not always going to say, oh yes, this is a magnificent solution and I will pay what you're asking for it. Sometimes they'll say, yeah, it's okay. Sometimes they'll say, well, I really like this other thing better. Sometimes they'll say, oh, why can't it be blue? Right? Those are all, that's all feedback. We have to be able to take that feedback, turn it into fact, so we can build a product that people want. When you're able to sell something that people want, you're going to do great things. You just have to listen to know what those things are. Catherine says, knowing your uniqueness helps you meet the needs of your customer in a unique way. I do believe that we are all uniquely gifted, talented, and placed for a reason, right? And just like with coaching, right? I'll go ahead and use myself as an example here. There are lots of coaches around, and there are lots of good coaches around. There are lots of great coaches around. But we might not all click. I might not click with everybody, and that's okay. Somebody else might not click with my clients. That's okay. I want people to work with the coach that they can have a connection with and get the result. Right? I don't want to force that relationship. So, yes, Catherine, you're right. There are different ways, just like restaurants. Restaurants are a great example too. What was the movie? Demolition Man, where there was only one kind of, every restaurant was a Taco Bell, right? The variety in restaurants caters to this, but to your sentiment here, that unique people have unique wants, needs, and desires, and we need a variety of solutions to be able to solve those. Just because there's already a restaurant in town doesn't mean you can't have another one. Just saying. All right. So here's your takeaway today. I want you to, as you are listening to the news, reading the news, listening to whatever you listen to today, practice discernment. What is this person saying that's fact versus what is this person saying that's opinion? And then I want you to apply that to your ideal customer. You take out that ideal customer avatar, or you talk to a couple of your ideal customers. Ask them what you're doing well. Ask them what you could do better. Ask them what would make your product perfect. And then practice that discernment, right? What's fact from opinion, and then make a plan to execute on that. If you need help from that, it's down in, actually it's not down in the lower third today. If you need help with that, come to the website and see me, thomrigsby.com, click on the coaching link, and we'll get you started on that plan. It's 100% confidential and no obligation for that phone call. In the lower third today is the website for the radio show. I mentioned on Tuesday, the radio show is moving to Saturdays. This Saturday will be the first episode. And at least part of the episode, my bride's going to join me for that episode. So you want to tune in for that. I'll warn you ahead of time, talkradioforentrepreneurs.com is a work in progress. For years, I've had it forwarding to the Facebook page, and then it was broken for a little while. Now it is its own website. It is a work in progress. Be patient. It's coming. It'll get better. But go ahead and bookmark that and put a reminder in your phone for 8 o'clock Saturday morning so you can listen to the show. And I think I'm going to be able to stream it on the website. But you can always listen to it at WTKIRadio.com. All right, that's it for today. You guys have a fantastic Thursday. Be thankful for something today. In fact, take a minute right now, send a Facebook message or a text to somebody that you're thankful for. Tell them that. That'll make their day. I will talk to you again tomorrow. Is that right? Yeah, that's right. Okay. You guys have a great Thursday. Talk to you then.